Hi guys, welcome back to the Breaking the Cycle podcast, and we're going to get real in this podcast. I feel like my first one had to be a little bit formal, had to be a little bit long-winded. I wanted you guys to get the jidge of like what's going to be going down on this podcast. I wanted you guys to be a tad overwhelmed with like all of just the things that either you can relate to or the things that you can just be like, okay, I have some things that I need to work on or think about, whatever it might be. I just wanted you to listen to that long-winded episode. Not every episode is going to be that long. This time we're going to stay on topic. I don't know if I'll ever stay on topic, but let's try. And for our episode 2 of the first season, we're going to be talking about understanding your self-worth. Why are we so hyper-focused on finding the right guy, job, friendship, personality even, if we aren't even the right woman yet? This is a woman podcast because I'm a woman. But if you're a man here, I'm sure that you can, alter this to your way. But if you're new here, I'm your host, Riley Simpson. If you've been here for a while or you've logged into this channel already, because I announced that I was going to post it like a year ago, hi. Thanks guys for celebrating my birthday with me on the last episode. I am recording this in advance, so it's like literally not my birthday today, so it's so weird to already feel 26 when I'm not 26, but I'm celebrating being 26. It's like really weird. But I'm not one of those people that are going to sit here and be like they're old, because I'm not. I'm 6 years out of 20, which is crazy. Imagine if when we were, whatever, I'm not even going to make the example, but I'm not old. I'm not feeling old. I'm not going to give that excuse that I'm old. I am just here. But I am recording this in advance, so it's a little weird for me. But yeah, guys, hi, I'm your host, Riley Simpson. This podcast drops every 2 weeks on Saturday, so make sure to tune in on that time. We will be having other seasons, so stay tuned, but this is the second season, and if you missed the first episode, or this is the first season, second episode, if you missed the first episode, everything's kind of like gonna relate off of that a little bit, so you might want to go back and watch it, but maybe you just came here for the self-worth talk. You needed to understand your self-worth and you wanted to hear the tea on what the girls have to say about it. So let's just get into it. Last thing I'm going to say is if you want to see me in real life and you want to bond together, I am on YouTube recording this live at the RGRT YouTube channel. It'll be linked below as well. So yeah, I really wanted to dive into the first topic because obviously this season is called like Breaking the Cycle, and this is breaking the cycle for women. I feel like I myself personally was going through a hamster wheel. I've gone in constant hamster wheels. Let's be honest. We all know that we repeat the same cycle as many times as we have to until we break it and then we push through. So you'll go through different phases of cycles and you can only get as far as you allow yourself to be. If you want to stop yourself at a certain point because you're happy there, let it be. But if you want to move forward, you got to start at the ground zero of breaking your cycle. I'm in my 20s, so I'm talking about more of like a 20s breaking your cycle, but I'm sure you could take bits and pieces from this regardless of where you're at in life. When I talk about us being like hyper-focused on everything else but ourself, whether it be the guy that you want, the friend that you want, the best friend, you want that best friend so bad, you see everybody else have them and you're like, I want one of those. Or you want the guy and you want the perfect relationship and to get married and have kids, or you want the friendships. Like when we're hyper focused on the outside of us, it's hard for us to focus on the inside. And if you don't know the inside of you, you don't even know what type of man you want to attract, what type of friendships you need to have that are going to work with you. You might have asked yourself in the past, like, how come like I am friends with this girl, but I don't actually really like her 100%? It's probably because you don't know yourself and what type of friendships you need to have, or the job that you want to have. You could be miserable at your job right now because you listened to, your mom that told you need to go to college and get this degree and whatever it might be, just so you have a degree, and now you're stuck at a job that you cry every night after. And you're like, I just want to attract the right job. How are you supposed to find the right job when you don't even know what you really want to do because you don't even know yourself 100% yet? Or the personality. Maybe you're trying to break out of your personality. Whatever it might be that you want to push out of from, it's not going to happen until you pinpoint what it is. And the level 1 of that is discovering your self-worth. Because if you know your self-worth, you know your value, you know who you are, you'll be able to know a lot of things. So let's get into that. I want to talk about how self-esteem shapes our relationships and our career choices. So sometimes your self-esteem is definitely going to get in front of all your relationships. Let's talk about insecurity, because that's the main one I feel like every girl struggles with. It's never the amount of like, is she prettier than me? Does she have a doper personality than me? Is she more successful than me? If you're looking at other women in a sense of competition, your self-worth is not there, because it's never about that. It's always about how confident you are in yourself. And how do you become confident in yourself is setting those boundaries. There's an unwritten book of laws, this law book that a lot of people will tell you, you have to live life this way. If you don't, have kids by the time you're 35, you will never have kids. If you've never been in a relationship, you're probably not girlfriend material. If you sleep around too much, you're a hoe. Like, there's all these stereotypes that we label women as that makes us have to fall into a certain category. And then you wonder why your girl lacks so much self-esteem. Your friendships lack so much real and rawness. This is also a real girl chat, so we're going to be raw and brutally honest. So if you're not ready to like look at yourself in the mirror, like, please click on somebody else's cushiony podcast. This is not here. But it's like, sorry, you might hear my dogs barking. They have battle wars with the neighbors. I don't know what to do about that. But there's always this book of laws, even the book of laws that your parents told you to live by. You need to do these things in this order, and then you'll be able to get my approval that you did good at being my daughter. Like, there's so many things, and breaking out of that habit and building the life that you want is going to help you with your self-esteem. Even if it's not necessarily what you think is important, and you're just like, is it important for me to not go to school, or is that just what I want? You know what I mean? Like, you need to value these decisions, definitely. But they all start from making your own book of laws, your boundaries, your absolute no's. Those no's. Like, it's a no-go for me. I'm not arguing with a friend. If you don't have enough love and care for me to talk to me gently and like get to the bottom of this like situation that we're having, like, I don't need to be friends with you. And that applies to all relationships. Some more absolute no's for me is that's a big one for me. Like, I'm not about to argue with anybody. No relationship, no friendship, just no dynamic am I arguing with. Whatever. That's my example. That's one of my absolute no's, and I know that. So if I get in front of a friend or a relationship or a situation and we start arguing and bickering and yelling and getting to those levels where argument would be a definition of it, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. And the boundary isn't necessarily that we can't argue, it's the way that we're arguing. You know what I mean? Setting up those absolute no boundaries are gonna help you exist in the world easier. These are all practices to help you feel better in existence, whether it in all your dynamics and all your relationships and all of your thoughts and dreams and goals. If you can pinpoint exactly what they are, so when somebody asks you like, hey, what do you think about this? Or do you like this? Or what is something that you don't want to go through again? Or all these questions, you know the answer. You don't want to be asked these questions for the first time. You don't want to be asked like, what are your icks? And you're like, I don't have any. Like, of course you have icks. Okay? And knowing all of that is going to give you more self-worth. Writing your own book of laws is going to help you with this self-worth. You need to write your book of laws. You need to know what you're going to abide by. You need to know how you're going to act, what manners that you deem are necessary, like what your attire should look like, the type of woman that you want to be, like what makes a successful woman look like to you, what makes a confident woman look like to you, what is your book of laws, how do you want to be dated, how do you want your life to look like, what is your book of laws that you want to abide by? And that's going to help you discover, at least, even if you can't put it into action of your self-worth, if you know what you want and you know your book of laws and things like that, it's going to make it easier for you to at least put it into practice. Therapy and fixing things about yourself and this journey is a long practice. You're going to fail sometimes. It's not always going to be successful, and you're not even going to be able to live up to your book of laws all the time. Sometimes you're going to want to be a people pleaser. You're going to want to listen to what somebody else wants to do or say just simply because you want to. And that's okay too. But try to challenge yourself to do what you want, to say no to that event that you have to go to, or no to that budget plan, or no to that job. Like, whatever it might be, like, have enough like self-esteem to say no. Have enough self-esteem to say yes. Even if you feel so insecure and you feel like you don't belong, have enough self-worth to say yes. Have enough self-worth to say no to the toxic relationship. Have enough self-worth to say yes to the guy that really wants to date you and wants to be with you. Even if it doesn't work out, you need to start practicing all of the things that you want to say yes to, so then you can evaluate for yourself, is this something that I really wanted? Okay? Okay. That's the raw and the realness of it. And the unscratched version, sometimes I'm trying to like break this down to like a level of like such easy understanding, but the more I talk, the more difficult I feel like it is, because I normally am like talking to my friends, and my friends, they understand, that's why we're friends. And so sometimes when I'm like talking to myself right now on this podcast, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually like so difficult. I'm having anxiety thinking about it. So like, you're not alone. Like, I promise you, this is not an easy journey, but the fact that you clicked on this pod and you want to know about it, like, we're going to get you there. And the more this pod grows, the easier it's going to be for everybody to like understand what I'm trying to put down. Okay. Free therapy. So the rawness and the realness of it is, babe, if you know, if you don't know yourself, and if you're in your 20s, you probably don't. We're all trying to figure it out. Knowing that you don't know everything, knowing that you're trying to figure it out is the first step to finding your self-worth. And just be more for yourself. Just abide by the things that you want to abide by, the rules that you want to exist, the occasions that you want to go to, the food that you want to eat, the gym routine that you want to do. Even people will say that this is being selfish. I don't give a don't care. You have to be selfish. That way you can discover your self-worth. You can work backwards after. But if you don't know what that looks like, you have to learn that. It's just, you just have to. Have to. How many times did I say have to? Understanding the role of social media and how it makes you change what you might think about yourself debating on what the trend is. Gasp. Jump scare. Who said that? Let me read that one more time. Understanding the role of social media and how it makes you change what you think about yourself debating on what trend it is. I feel like the new Cardi B song is like a perfect example of that. It is when she's just like, let me try to find it. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's the Safe song. There it is. So she's out here like, I don't need a rich dude, just somebody to make me feel safe. Babe, you've continuously gone with rich dude after rich dude, and neither one of them has made you feel safe. Especially your new one. I don't even know his name. Like, I'm not that educated on it, but what I do know is that apparently he has already other baby moms and was a cheater in the past before and is just not really a good dude. Yet you just made a song on being safe. It's so contradictory to like what you actually believe. I feel like if it's trending to be this thick baddie yaddy, we're all going to get BBLs. And right when Kim Kardashian and them slimmed down to being skinny minis, everybody all of a sudden dissolved everything. It's like we have no real trend of our own. And sometimes it's like, since it's so popular right now for every girl to be getting a bust down watch, a new car, and their bills paid for. Every girl expects that. That's all I see online. Versus like when I tell somebody that I'm actually really happy in my dynamic, like, and we don't really do anything like super, super extravagant, but we do every here and there, and I really like it. It's like they automatically assume that like, why would you be with a guy that's not doing 101 things for you all the time and taking the bills off of your house and moved you in by now and did all this for you? It's just like, okay, you got to evaluate what you want. Okay, I have dated the guy that could, pin me up today and I don't ever have to work again. And he bought me everything underneath the sun, and he was amazing, and he was sweet, and he was kind, and all the things. But I did evaluate myself, and I decided that I do want to be in love with the person that's doing all of these things. Whether he's doing them or not, I do need to be in love with him. That doesn't mean I don't want a man that is going to pay for things. I very much communicated in my relationship that no matter what, a man should not be with a woman if he doesn't have an income, because we're just not going to get anywhere. Because the moment that we start thinking about future, if we both don't have a solid income, predominantly you, because I'll be the first to be raw and real, that's like, when I get this pregnant belly and I'm not feeling well, I don't want to be thinking about the fact that I have to go to work today. I want to have a job because that's physically what I want, but that doesn't mean that I want to be completely reliant on the bills because we want kids. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And in order for a household, to me, to be ran properly, in order for this to feel like a dynamic to me that's going to work, I do think a man should pay the majority of the bills. But that doesn't mean that I want to be a woman that doesn't make money. So writing down your own trends and your own needs and why can't I say that word? Necessities is very important. I wanted so bad to be influenced by the girls and be with the guy that you know damn well they don't like. You ever see a couple or like a relationship and you're just like, that makes no sense, or there's no way that she's actually happy, and like it doesn't mean that she isn't. Maybe that's what she evaluated, what she needed, and that is worth it. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just need to get what they want, and that is exactly what you should do. Actually, you should always get what you want, no matter what it looks like. So it's just like, but sometimes people get into things that they don't really want to be in. Like, I couldn't imagine any woman being a woman. I couldn't imagine any woman really wanting to be with a guy that cheats on her, especially like publicly. That's insane. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if we're socially norming the fact that it's okay to be with a guy that is a cheater after committing and like having a baby with them and like getting married, and we're just supposed to be okay with men cheating, like, I'm sorry. Like, I hate that cultural norm. Or the fact that, you know, we'd rather cry in a Mercedes than a Toyota. Totally understand, babe. Totally understand that you'd rather cry in a Mercedes than a Toyota. But it's like, are you willing to risk the rest of your life on a Mercedes over a Toyota? Do you know what it means to like spend the rest of your life with somebody? And regardless of like the relationship part of it, the job, are you willing to risk the rest of your life being crying in your car and hating your life and feeling miserable and depressed all day just to say that you have this job? Is that really worth it? Because at the end of the day, like, we are still supposed to live life, people. You are still supposed to be somewhat happy. Like, I understand that every day is not going to be the best, but like, definitely try your best to work towards the happiness trial. The trail that makes you feel good. So, in conciseness, because we got a little bit off track there, just try not to be too influenced from the world. You can take notes of things, but you can disagree. If you don't want, even let's say you don't, I'm over here preaching about monogamous relationships. Let's say you don't want a monogamous relationship. That is your world. So live in it. You know what I mean? You don't need to be a part of these cultural norms in any way. And the more that you stand on who you are and what you want, the easier it's going to be for you to gather that self-esteem, because then you're not embarrassed about the fact that maybe you want, you know, multiple boyfriends at one time. And what is that, polyamorous relationship? You're not embarrassed because that's what you want. And that's totally valid. You're allowed to do that. So create your own book of laws, create your own trends. Don't be too influenced from the trends off of social media, because a lot of things are not as you see them. For those of you guys that are meeting me for the first time, I have been in social media for like 6 years, and I've met a lot of our favorite studs, our favorite people, our favorite influencers, famous people, like you name it. I've also am born and raised in Los Angeles, so I've met a lot of people in my lifetime, way more than I feel like the normal person would ever. And I just have to say, most of them are depressed. Most of them are depressed, unhappy, don't know what they're doing with their life, just like us. And they have millions of dollars. Some of them act like they have millions of dollars and they actually don't, because they have like gambling problems or like real life over expenses or over consuming things. Like, you just never know what people are actually living. So like, if you're going to be influenced by something, let it be like the idea of something, an object, a skincare product. Don't let it be a lifestyle. Okay. Because you need to experience that lifestyle first to decide if that's even something that you would even like. Because a lot of the times you just might not like it. Shocker. All right. All right. And that leads us into overcoming negative self-talk. The power of the tongue, ladies. The power of the tongue. There will be a time in your life where you're just like, oh my God, I'm saying things and they're always coming true. It's like you're a genie in the bottle. That is your time to be very, very intentional with your word. I know that we've all experienced that where we're just like, oh my God, everything is literally happening the moment it comes out of my mouth. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. That is called manifestation, baby. That means that, the gods have heard you, your spirits are with you, and it is your time to shine. Be intentional with that tongue. Say your dreams out loud. Get what you want. Know what you want. You know when they have that trend on TikTok right now where they're just like, she knew who she was at a young age. Hell yeah. Stand on who you are. Our individuality is what makes us. It's what builds us. What makes me is important, even if you don't agree with it. What I say is important, even if you don't agree with it. That's why we love podcasts, right? Because either we're laughing and saying, holy shit, that was crazy. I can't believe they think that way. Or they're like, oh my God, I'm not alone. This is actually a topic that most people think about. You just have to be intentional in what you're saying, because everything that you're saying, as we said in our first podcast, already exists. It is the reality that you see for yourself is real. You just have to get yourself there, and it is all possible. And you'd be surprised what you can accomplish if you only said positivity into your life and the negativity was dropped. Negative thoughts, negative mindsets, everything that you want needs to be, even if you don't 100% believe it yet, if you want it, you have to try to believe it. You have to train yourself to believe it. Kind of live in delusion. It's okay. Live in delusion just a little bit, just that way you can see what that reality looks like. Everything is trial and error, because the things that you might want, you might not really like, to keep it real with you. But you also might like, and that's the whole point of trying it out. If you're just going to put yourself in a category, but you've never fully taken yourself there and experienced it, maybe try that. So that way then you can evaluate and be like, yep, loved that. That's for me. Okay. So when you find out that that's for you, there is the impact of relationships when you have more self-worth. The impact of your relationships once your self-worth is out there and valid and live to the public and to your friends and everything, your relationships change. People know how to treat you. People know what you like all of a sudden. People are more interested in all the things that make up who you are because you know now. If you're just on the flow boat, we talked about that on last podcast, when you're just on the flow boat, people are flowing with you. You're going like the wind. But when you're intentional about every single step, every decision, every thing that comes out of your mouth, you're thinking about it before you speak, and all these things, you're just trying to make your life more intentional. People are going to start to recognize that and be able to treat you with more of that, because you now have a standard, you have a structure. You are now in a classroom and people know exactly who you are and what makes you up you. But before, you were walking around, girl. So definitely move in that direction. You know what I'm talking about? There is, however, a connection between your self-worth and decision making. So that is what I'm trying to kind of pin on, I guess, is the self-worth attached to your decision making is going to be impeccable. Because there's a lot of times we'll just be like, oh yeah, I went because, she asked me to. It's totally okay for you to say no. Oh yeah, I ended up going on the date because I already committed to it. Totally okay to cancel. Nothing needs to be somebody else's way. You need to know the decision that you want and stand on it. If you don't want to go, odds are you probably shouldn't go. You have some type of pitted feeling, gut feeling. That woman intuition is so strong, let me tell you. Having that gut internal instinct is a woman's superpower. Let me tell you. You have to start listening to it, because it's going to save you a lot of trauma, anxiety, bad situations, bad relationships, bad friendships, you name it. It is going to save you. It's going to save you because then you're going to realize that the woman intuition is really a knowingness of yes or no. Things are more black and white than you think. Yes and no is so simple. And the more you listen to it, the more trouble you're going to save yourself. The more that you just say yes, 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 the more miserable you're going to be because you're not living up to your true standard and your true self-worth of what you want. And people aren't going to know, oh, actually, no, I'm not going to invite her because she doesn't like burgers. So simple. Then you showing up and you're like, oh my God, you guys are going to the one place that I don't like and it's burgers. And now I can't eat anything. It's like, they're always going to invite you to the burger place, babe, because you always say yes to the burger place and you shove it down your throat like you like it, and you don't. It is so simple. Okay? Let's heal from our past mistakes. Okay? How many times am I saying okay? Oh my God, I feel like I'm hearing myself being self-critical. But like, your past mistakes do not define you. They actually are going to shape you, because throughout this journey, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to do things that you had dreams of doing and you made some major mistakes, embarrassing moments. You didn't know, you knew you shouldn't have done this, but that's going to teach you who you are. Try to not be discouraged with the mistakes that you've made, because the mistakes are going to shape you. They're going to show you what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what you like and what you don't like. Mistakes, think of mistakes as like the dictionary almost. If you don't make any mistakes, you just don't really know yourself. You don't really know if what you like is even real, because you never even did the opposite of it to know if you don't like it or if you do like it. And you haven't opened your brain up to the possibility of maybe not liking something. You definitely want to do that in your lifetime, because I feel like if I didn't make the mistakes that I made, I would always think, what if? And I feel like as I keep making every decision purposely because I want to, like that is like literally the only excuse I have, it has taught me to be okay with everything that I am, because I'm no longer curious on if something is for me. I don't allow myself to think what if. I just do it. Whatever it is, I want to do it. And if I want to do it that bad, I'm going to do it. So that way I can tell myself, or I can tell other people, I don't like that actually. No. Or actually, love that. I absolutely love that. And people like to know what you like and what you don't like. They like to know what you've done and what you haven't done. They want to know how far have you taken the limit of being like a human being, so that way people know if like you actually know anything. How do you really think you know everything if you've just lived up to your basic book of laws that everybody told you to live up to, and you stuck on your cookie cutter yellow brick road your whole life? I mean, there is a life for that. But I just feel like, I don't know if that's necessarily your life or the life that you're just following. Like you are literally in school forever doing things that way. So just some tea for thought. Instead of food for thought, it's tea for thought, because everything is tea, okay?
Do what you feel when you feel like it, if you feel like it.
That may be to some people quite shocking.
What's shocking? To do what you feel when you feel like it, when you feel like it?
Well,
if you feel like it?
I guess because
it's
people
just saying,
tend to
do
categorise
what you
things.
want. Do what you want. I do what I want.
And as we close out this chapter of embracing yourself, finding your self-worth, and all the topics that we talked on today, again, I know it can seem like a lot, but it's not. It's actually just steps of just discovering exactly who you are, so you know it too. Sometimes other people are so easier to read you, or the people will act like they know you so well. And do you ever like sit in front of somebody and they're like, I know that you would like this, and you're just like, I would never pick that a day in my life, but you just go along with it because you're like kind of comforted by the fact that somebody thinks they know you so well, but you're equally as depressed with the fact that they don't know you at all. Yeah, let's change that. Because the self-worth, high self-esteem version of yourself would be like, I love you so much, but I actually like don't like that. I'd prefer something like this. Because then you're happy, I'm happy. You're not spending money or doing things for me that you know I wouldn't like, and I'm not going to be a part of things that I don't like. There's hundreds of people in the world that would rather do certain things with other people, that would rather have a certain experience with somebody. It doesn't necessarily need to be you and them. Okay? I'm here to be raw and real with you. I'm here to tell you the truth on just what I think. Again, what I think does not need to be what you think. It could simply just be an ear, some tea for thought. And I would love to hear what you guys think and how you feel about these topics and matters. And if you are doing this, tell me how it's going, because I definitely want to be there for you. I feel like we try to go the free way of therapy and listen to other people and what they might know and go about the 10 things that I did to make myself better this week. And we try to follow it and we still feel lost. And sometimes that's just because we're not actually like putting it into practice or communicating with the other person. Like that's just what worked for them. This is what worked for me. I do believe that regardless of what worked for me, I do feel like this is a good guide on just different ways or stepping stones of different ways where maybe you could step into this reality. And if you're already there and you know a thing or two that you want to add to this, please comment it. Please comment it. I want to start putting in like super bonus episodes where not everything is like super about like how-tos, because I don't necessarily know the answer. Let's just start there. In case I didn't say it in the beginning, I'm not a licensed therapist or shrink. I'm just a person that has a lot of experience in therapy and have done a lot of self-growth, I feel like more than the average person, and am super open to controversial topics or hard conversations or just things that people don't really talk about. So I'm definitely always going to be here to keep it raw with you, keep it real. And I want to be that person. But I will be having bonus episodes where I just kind of talk about the real and the raw of like whatever topic I want. But I do want to get through these episodes of just breaking the cycle. So I'm glad you guys tuned into part 2. This was a great one for me. I'm really excited to release this one. I feel like this one would help me a lot. And I feel like self-worth is just like the hardest thing to find. Like nothing hurts more than when you're like, I hold no value. Where is my value? Why doesn't anybody see it? Why don't I see it? Why don't I know it? Like that frustration factor that you're just like, why? When you know you're a human being and you're worthy of all the things, but you're like, where the fudge does that start? I'm trying not to cuss because I don't want to be disqualified on this app. But it's like, where does that even be? Where does that lay in the world, you know? And nothing hurts more than realizing like my self-esteem is so low, I have no self-worth, and I have no idea how to get that. But if you're admitting that to yourself, that just means that you haven't given yourself enough time. You've given yourself a lot of time to other things that didn't have to do with you. And now you're finally ready to focus on you. When you have other things that you have to take care of, sis, you got to take care of those things. And that is okay. That is being a grown-up. But then when all the grown-up things are done and you're sitting alone in your bed and you're watching your show by yourself and you see yourself being sad because you're just like, I did so much and I'm doing so much, but I'm just not happy. It does probably stem from your self-worth. So now that you're finally ready to like take that stepping stone into what it's like to be a woman of all of those and have standards and have boundaries and stuff like that, that is what we're here for. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you want to find me, you want to watch this live and you can get a face to the voice, I'm on YouTube. It'll be linked below as well so that you guys can get that. But if not, I know I personally just like to listen to people's voices like on my podcast app, so totally cool with just being a voice for you to put in your ear. I'm so grateful that people want to listen to these and want to hear me talk, and like I can't even believe I'm doing this, so really appreciate the love and support from everybody that's listening. And yeah, I'll see you guys with another raw chat, and yeah, I hope you have a fabulous day. And yeah, I'm done. Don't forget, you're not different, you're not lacking something, you're just figuring it out, aren't we all? And you're going to constantly be figuring it out. So much love, giving virtual hugs, and I'll see you guys on episode 3, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, okay? Every 2 weeks, guys. Bye.